In the previous video, we completed the left side of the top flap of section number 3. Left side of the top flap of section number 3, that was binomial times binomial. Binomial times binomial. Let's look at an alternate method, one that you've probably seen before in a class. I have to tell you, I prefer this method. The reason why I prefer this method, which is known as a grouping method, is because you're going to see this show up again when we get to some other parts of integrated math 2. So if you're familiar with this and understand this procedure, it will help you later on. You're going to see it show up again. But there's another way to do this that might be more familiar to you, and if you use this method, I'm totally fine with it as long as you can do it accurately and consistently. So another way to multiply binomials is to use the FOIL method. And it's called the FOIL method not because it has anything to do with aluminum foil. It's because these letters, F-O-I-L, all stand for something that helps you remember the order of this procedure, the different steps to make this work. So here we go. Let's fill this out. Multiply the first terms together. There's the F in FOIL. Multiply the outside terms together. There's the O in FOIL. Multiply the inside terms together. There's the I. And multiply the last terms together. So we get FOIL because of these letters, F, O, I, and L, and they stand for first, outside, inside, and last. And let's demonstrate how this procedure works. First terms, outside terms, inside terms, last terms. So let's take a look at the same example that we did over on the left side. Binomial x plus 6 times binomial x minus 2. The first terms are the very first term in each of those binomials. It's the x and the x. So we're going to multiply those terms together. X times x, which is equal to x squared. Now we're going to do the outside terms. The outside terms, think about this. Think about this all together as one expression. X is the outside term on the left side. Negative 2 is the outside term on the right side. So the outside terms are x times negative 2, which is equal to negative 2x. The inside terms are the ones that are showing up in the middle. We've got a positive 6 and an x. So the inside terms are positive 6 times x, and that's equal to 6x. And then our last terms. The last term in this binomial is positive 6. The last term in this binomial is negative 2. So you've got 6 times negative 2 equals negative 12. Now, I have some students sometimes, they see this thing last terms, and guess what they think of? These two. Those are the last, those are on the end. You need to be careful about that, class. When it says last terms, it's talking about the last term in each binomial. When it's talking about first terms, it's the first term in each binomial. When it's talking about outside terms, now it's looking at both binomials together, and inside terms, same thing, both binomials together. And now you see, I can go ahead now and take all these values and put them together. We've got x squared minus 2x plus 6x minus 12. And if you look over here on the other side of the page, you'll see we've got the exact same answers in our second step using the grouping method. And in this case, we want to finish this up. We have two terms on the inside of this expression that are like terms. They both have the same variable with the same exponent, which is 1. These both have an exponent of 1. So we can finish writing this up as x squared plus 4x, negative 2 plus 6 is positive 4, so plus 4x minus 12, and you see we have the same answer. So there is the FOIL method on the right. Here is the grouping method on the left, and I might even just write that word here for you. This is called grouping. Either one, if you get good at either one, that's totally fine. But again, I'll remind you that down the road, you're going to see this grouping method show up again when we're dealing with factoring quadratics.